Yes, ma'am.
Yes, so there are three different kinds of software process models we have studied here. That is, which are all the software process models we have studied here? Which are all the software process models we have studied here?
Waterfall model.
Yes, how many types? Three types of software process models we have studied, right? That is waterfall model. The next is,
Increment
yes,
development.
incremental model, and last one is the reuse or
Integration.
integration and configuration, or you can say is the it as a reuse oriented software engineering model, right? These are the three different kinds of models we have studied. Along with that, what are the different activities is, right? What are the different stages are there in those models, and what is the advantages, what is the drawback of each and every model we have studied. Yes or no? Waterfall model is going to consider, it is going to have separate and the distinct phases that you are going to represent, right? Before the first what the stage or phase will not complete, you will not go for the next phase. That is the what case in the waterfall model. In second case, that is incremental development, what will happen, all the stages of the phases are interleaved. Those are in incremental manner, they are arranged. That means you are going to do the initial implementation, and you are going to expose it to the user comment. Depending upon the user comment, again you are going back to the designing part, and you are going to do the modification. That means the different versions of the system will be get produced there. So at any point of time, in any phase, you can do the changes. That is possible in case of the incremental. And last one is reuse oriented. Name itself indicates you are going to adopt some of the components, some of the elements, some of the what the elements that are from the already existing system, right? Along with that, you are going to develop some more new components to develop your own or the new software system, right? This is what the third type, that is reuse oriented software engineering model. These are the main three types of software models we have studied. Any doubts with this, guys? Any doubts with these software models? Yes or no? No response at
No.
all. Are you there in the meeting? How many are there
Yes,
in the
ma'am.
meeting? Almost 5, 6, 7. All 7 members are there except Akash, right? Is that clear? All the three types of software process models, guys, and what is the advantages,
Yes, ma'am.
disadvantages, that
Ma'am.
all we have seen in the last class. Okay, today we will start with the next point, that is the different types of process activities. Already I think you heard what are the different types of software process activities are there. At the starting of this chapter itself, we have studied 4 different types of software process activities. Which are those? Do you remember?
Software specification.
Yes, good. Software specification. Then,
Ma'am,
yes,
excuse me, ma'am. We cannot hear your voice, ma'am.
you cannot hear my voice. Now see. Hello. Is it audible now? Kiran. Kiran. Hello. Hello. How about others? Am I
Yes,
audible?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Is it my voice
Yes,
is
ma'am.
clear, Snehal?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Kiran,
Yes, ma'am.
can you hear me now? Kiran? No. Might be he is only having a network problem. How about others? Leena, Sumaya, Ria,
Yes,
Soumya.
ma'am.
You can hear no my voice. Sujit.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. See, someone was telling the different kinds of process activities. First one is software specification. Then there are mainly 4 different types of software process activities are there, right? First one is software specification. Another 3. Can you name them at least?
Software development.
Yes, software development. Good. Then
Validation and evaluation.
Yes, software validation and the software evolution. These are the four different kinds of process activities we have studied. Now, in detail, again, these are the what the main kinds of the software activities. In turn, they are also going to have the sub activities. Those in detail we are going to study in today's class. Okay. Exactly, software specification. This is a main activity. How it is going to define the constraint, how it is going to define what the system should do, right? These all activities, how it is going to perform by doing the sub activities is within it. That everything you are going to study here, right? Is that screen is visible? No slide what I have shared. Yes guys, is that the slide is visible what I have shared?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. See, process activities. Real software
Excuse
processes.
me, ma'am.
Yes, Kiran. Hello.
Ma'am,
Yes. Yes, what happened? Hello. Any problem, guys? Am I audible, right? Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you hear me, my voice? Kiran, what happened? Maybe network issue he is facing. Okay, let it be. We will start. See, real software processes are interleaved sequence of technical, collaborative and the managerial activities with the overall goal of specifying, designing, implementing and testing of the software system. See, whenever we will come up with the real software processes, right, by using that one, if you are developing any real time software products, at that time they are going to have the sequence of all the different kinds of software activities, right, with the overall goal of specifying, right, what exactly that particular system needs to do, right, along with that the designing part, implementation and the testing of the software system will be done. But here all the activities which are you are going to consider, those are interleaved. That means there is a one-to-one connection will be there within the activities, right? That thing will be considered whenever you are going to what develop the real-time software systems. So whenever you are considering the real-time software system, as already I told, there are mainly four basic process activities are there. That is system specification, system development or the software development, and software validation and the software evolution, right? But these four activities will be organized in different manner for the developing the different kinds of the processes, right? They are not going to specify or they are not going to use the same sequence for developing the all the kinds of software processes. They may use it in a different manner, right? Yes, they are going to organize these activities in a different manner to develop the different kinds of software processes. For example, we have seen that are three different types of process models, that is waterfall model, increment model and the reuse oriented model. We have seen how the phases they have arranged, how the activities will be arranged in those all the three types of process model, right? In case of water model, what will happen? They are going to define the all the process activities, they are going to indicate it as a separate and the distinct phases. Yes or no? They are indicating it as the separate and the distinct phases, and they are going to arrange it in a sequence. That means before completion of the last phase, you cannot move on to the next phase. That is the what case you have used in the waterfall model, right? But in increment model, what will happen? There is a feedback is there in between the activities. Like for example, in specification, development and the validation, right, there is a feedback of the activities can be done. You are going to consider the feedback, right? So here whatever the stages or the phases you are going to consider, those all are interleaved. right? So the different kinds of what kind of software process you are going to develop, depending upon that you are going to consider the model. So the whatever the activities are there, those will be organized in a different manner to develop the different kinds of the software processes. I hope it is clear, guys, right? Always it is not same the case. You are not going to arrange the software activities in a same order. Yes, which type of software process, right, you are developing, depending upon that you can organize these activities. I hope it is clear. I hope it is clear. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. How about others? Please respond, guys. Otherwise I will
Yes,
not
ma'am.
come to know there is a somewhat network issue. Clear? Okay. The next we will start with, that is the first one. First software process activities, that is the software specification. See, the software specification, you can also call it as a requirement engineering process. Both are one and the same, right? Software specification, or you can also call it as a requirement engineering process. What exactly software specification indicates? As already we have discussed this point in the starting of this unit itself. What is exactly software specification? What you are going to do here? What it is going to define? By using this one, you are going to understand and you are going to define what type of services are required from this particular system which you are developing. Yes or no? And along with that, you are going to consider the constraints on the operation of that particular system operation. Yes or no? These things what you are going to identify by using a software specification. Name itself indicates defining what the system should do. Right? That is what called as the system or the software specification. Correct? Yes or no, guys? Here it is nothing but the requirement engineering process. Right? It is of understanding and defining what exactly, right, which type of services are required from that particular system which you are developing. Along with that, you are going to define the constraints. You are going to identify the constraint on the system's operation. Right? These two things will be done in the case of the software specification activity. I hope it is clear, guys. This is also called as the requirement engineering process. Are you getting? Yes, guys. Are you getting?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So, in this, whatever the requirement engineering process we are considering here, it is going to consisting of the 4 different types of activities is here again. Right? Here in diagram, we have shown only 3, but one more thing is there, feasibility study. One more activity is there. Right? Here, before requirement illustration and the analysis, we will have a feasibility study also. That is also one of the activity within this software specification. So, mainly there are 4 kind of activities are there in this requirement engineering process. First is feasibility study, requirement illustration and the analysis, requirement specification and the requirement validation. These are the again main 4 sub activities you are going to perform within the software specification or the requirement engineering process. How they are arranged, that everything is shown here. And what is the work of this activities is, that is also shown here. Requirement illustration and analysis. Right. First what I told, the feasibility study. Right. What is the feasibility study? What exactly it is going to do? Right. That particular activity. Here by using feasibility study, right, you are going to estimate whether whatever the user needs you have identified, that may be satisfied using the current software and the hardware technologies or no. That you are going to check it out. That is what called as the feasibility study. Are you getting? First activity is feasibility study. By using that one, an estimate is made, right, whether the identified user needs, whatever the user requirements he has come up with a requirement, whether those all requirements are satisfied using the current software and hardware, whatever the technologies you have used. Right? whether those all are met or no, that everything you are going to check in the feasibility study. That is the first activity. Then second activity is requirement elicitation and the analysis. That means here it is by using this one you are going to derive the system requirement through the observation of existing system, discussions with the potential users, and you are going to do the task analysis. This means it exactly what it is going to have, the system elicitation and analysis. It is going to involve the development of one or more system models, or you can develop the system prototypes. So here by using this one, it will help you to understand the system to be specified. Are you getting? System requirement elicitation and the analysis. During this phase, you are going to find it out. Yes, you are going to derive what all the system requirements are there. Yes, through by observing some existing system, right? This may involve the development of, by using this one, you are going to develop one or more system models or the prototypes, you can say. So it will help you to understand what exactly this system is to be specified. By using this system, what are all the different types of services you can do it, that everything you can understand by using this particular activity, that is requirement elicitation and the analysis. I hope it is clear, guys, getting the thing. See ya. Hello, please respond, guys.
Yes, ma'am.
Just
Yes, ma'am.
yes, getting the thing. See ya. What I told, the software specification is nothing but the process of establishing what services are required and the constraint on the system operation and the development. That everything will be defined by using the software specification. It is going to have 4 main activities. First one is what I told, the feasibility study. By using feasibility study, it is going to estimate, right? It is going to estimate whether what all the user needs you have already identified, user requirement, what are all the things you have identified, whether those all are meeting by using the current software and the hardware technologies or no. That everything you are going to estimate. That is what called as the feasibility study. That is the first thing. Then second one is requirement elicitation and the analysis. Right? By using this one, what it will do? What do the system stakeholders require and expect from this system? That means you are going to understand the system for what it is specified. Right? Whether the system stakeholders, what they are requiring or what they are expecting from this particular system. That everything you are going to define within the requirement elicitation and the analysis. Are you getting, guys? At least in a simple manner. It is written in the slide.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Then next is requirement specification. Here you are defining the requirements in detail. What are all the according to the user need. Right. You are going to identify the requirements and defining those requirements in detail. That is what called as a requirement specification. Clear? That means what it will do, what all the information you have already gathered, right, during this analysis phase, requirement elicitation and analysis phase. In this, what all the information you have gathered, right, you are translating that information into the document. Yes, into the document that is going to define the requirements in detail. That is what called as the requirement specification. I hope it is clear. Are you getting what is requirement specification, guys? According to the stakeholders or the customer need, what you are going to expect from this system, right? That is defined in the requirement elicitation and analysis. Now whatever the information you have gathered already from the analysis phase, right, that you are translating into the one of the document. The document is going to contain the set of requirement. There you are going to define it in a detail. Yes, the document exactly what it is going to do, it is going to define the requirements in detail. I hope it is clear. I hope it is clear. Right, then last one is requirement validation. Are you there in the meeting, guys?
Yes, ma'am.
Mom, I can't hear your voice, it's mute. My voice is audible, right, for you all? Kiran?
Yes, ma'am.
Kiran, now at least? How about others? All of you are listening? Is that my
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
voice is audible?
ma'am.
Then what's
Yes,
the
ma'am.
problem the Kiran is facing? He's telling it's mute. My voice is not. Yes, come now. Hear me. Okay. Okay, he can hear me now. The last phase is requirement validation. Name itself indicates. Checking of the validity of the requirement. What all the requirements you have gathered, right? Whether those are completed or completeness of those requirement, right? The consistency of the requirement, that means you are going to validate that requirement, right? So that it must be then modified to correct the problems whenever you are going to face, right? That is what done in the requirement validation. Name itself indicates checking the validity of the requirement. Just see now the diagram what I have explained, the same thing is written. See, first one is feasibility study. What I told, by using a feasibility study, that activity you are going to estimate the whether the identified the requirement or the user needs are there, whether those will be satisfied using the current software and the hardware technologies, right? Depending upon that you are going to generate the feasibility report. And second one is requirement elicitation and analysis. Here what you are doing, what do the stakeholders require or they are expecting from the system, that you are going to define here. Yes, depending upon that it is going to develop you the different kinds of system models and the prototypes. I said yes or no? This particular phase or the activity, it is going to include the development of one or more system models or the prototypes, so that it will help you to understand the system for what kind it is specified. That is what it is given, system description, nothing but it is going to give the system models. And after that requirement specification. Now what are all the information you have gathered in this analysis phase, that you are translating into the document. That document is going to contain the set of requirements, right? That means it is going to define you the user and the system requirement, right? Then after that you are doing this requirement validation. That means you are checking, you are ensuring the validity of the requirements, right? So at the end you are going to, after performing these all activities, you will come up with the one document, that is requirement document. Clear? That means you have now come up with the exact information, how exactly that system services needs to be applied on those requirement. Those all requirements you have gathered at the end of the requirement engineering process. Is that clear? This is the what? The system specification, or you can call it as a software specification, and you may also call it as a requirement engineering process. I hope it is clear, guys. First activity and the sub activities which are present in that activity. Clear? Is that clear, guys? Hello? Is that clear? Yes or no? Are you there? Hello?
ఏంటి ಯಾವ ಫೋನ್ ಇಲ್ಲಲ್ಲ ಸುಮ್ಮ ಹೋಗಿಲ್ಲ ಸುಮ್ಮ ಒಬ್ಬ ಕೂತಿ ತೆಲುಗು ಯಾರಂಗಿಲ್ಲ ಮ್ಯಾಗು ಯಾರಂಗಿಲ್ಲ ಆಜುಬಾಜು ಯಾರು ಇರಂಗಿಲ್ಲ
Hello?
ಬರೀ ನಾವು
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Is that clear? The
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
first activity. Okay, we'll start with the second activity then. Software design and the implementation, right? You can also call it the software development. As already I told, what it is going to consisting of, how we are going to implement your software, which are the programming languages you are going to use, what type of data structures you are going to use, right? That everything you are going to define here into the software design and the implementation. See, it is a process of converting the system specification what you have gathered in the first activity, right, into the executable system. Executable system means it needs to contain some programs, it needs to be implemented by the some programming languages, right? That is what called as the executable system. I hope it is clear what exactly software design and the implementation indicates. It is the process of converting what all the system specification you have already gathered into the executable system. Clear? So mainly this software design and implementation name itself consists. That is, it is going to contain the two activities. First one is software design and the implementation. Software design indicates what? Designing a software structure that realizes the specification. That means here you are going to design your exactly the software. That indicates here what exactly you are going to do. What that indicates? What all the data models you are going to use, right? How the system structures is used by the system. What is the interfaces you are going to use between the components. What type of algorithm you are going to use to develop that particular software. These everything will be included in the software design. I hope it is clear. Design a software structure that realizes the specification what you have already gathered in the software specification. That means which type of algorithm you are going to use, which type of interfaces you are going to use to show the relationship between the system components, right? Which type of data models you are going to use. That everything you are going to specify or you are going to define, right, for that particular software that is going to realize the requirement specification. That work is done in the software design. Name itself indicates designing a software. That means the data model you are representing, right? What type of algorithm can be used for that? Developing that particular software, designing that particular software. That everything you are going to specify. I hope it is clear. Yes? Whether algorithm, can you execute the algorithm? Is it possible? What is algorithm? Hello? What is algorithm? Can you execute the algorithm? Is it possible? Guys, what is algorithm? What is algorithm?
Step by step procedure, ma'am.
Step by step procedure for what? To solve the particular problem. Yes or no, Sujit? Step by step procedure to solve the particular problem. Right? There you are writing the English like statement. Is it possible to execute algorithm directly itself? Is it possible? Are you going to execute a algorithm? Algorithm needs to be converted into the program, right? By using any kind of a programming language. Yes or no? You need to convert what is the algorithm you have written. That algorithm needs to be converted into the program by using the different programming languages. You may develop that program by using the what? C or C++ or Java or .NET, right? Then only that can be executed. Yes or no? Yes or no? No response at all in today's class.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So what happened here? Software design means you have defined the algorithm, right? Now in implementation what you are doing? That translating this structure into the executable program. That work is done in the implementation phase. Correct? Algorithm you have defined, and by that algorithm you are writing it by using some programming language and making it as a executable program. So translating the whatever the structure you have already designed for that software in a software design activity, that will be translated into the executable program by using a implementation. That means implementation is related to the coding part will come into the existence here. Clear? So the activities of design and the implementation are closely related, or they may be interleaved. Indicates what? Interleaved means interleaved indicates what? Increment model. Remember increment model, how it works. There is a interleaving of the phases will be there, right? So the same concept is used whenever you are using the activities of the design and the implementation. They are very closely related and may be interleaved. So now we will see what are the different kinds of activities that will come into the existence in case of a software design and the implementation. Just go through the diagram. Is it visible, guys? The
Yes, ma'am.
general model for the design process. See what are the different activities are there in case of a that are part of your design process for the particular information system. Just go through the diagram. There are different, mainly 4 type of designs are there: architectural design, interface design, component design, and the database design. Do you see this design activities is 4 activities are there: architectural, interface, component, and the database. Getting the thing? 4 activities are there. Now we'll see what is the work of these 4 activities in case of a design process. See, architectural design is there, where you can identify the overall structure of the system and the principal components and the relationship, how they are distributed. That everything you are going to identify in case of a architectural design. Getting the thing? Overall structure for your system, right? Structure of the system will be identified. Along with that, what are all the different components, modules? You will say, no, there are 2 modules are there in the project. Yes or no? I think in BCA you have done already a project. There you have defined how many modules are there in your project, how many subsystems are there in your project. You have written right in a report. That is what? That work is done in the design process. That is what? Architectural design. That means here you are going to identify the overall structure of your system and which are all the principal components. Admin model, teacher model, like this you will write, no? Right? The subsystems you are going to identify. Along with that, you are going to identify the relationship between those subsystems and how exactly they are distributed. Right? That everything you are going to identify in the architectural design. And second one is database design. Name itself indicates, where you can design the system, data structures, and how these are represented in a database. Right? How exactly the database design is done. That you are going to define here. You are going to identify the data structures which are needed for your software design part. Along with that, how these system data structures, how they are represented within the database, right? That you are going to specify here. Then next is interface design. Name itself indicates, where you can define the interfaces between the system component, how they are relating, right? How exactly the system components, you have come up with, for example, 2 main principal components, right? In the structure of your system, how they are exactly relating by using a which type of interface, right? That you are going to define in a interface design, where you can define the interfaces between the system components. The last one is component selection and the design, where you can search for the reusable components. If unavailable, you can design how it will operate. Now see, that means if for example you are developing a software, that particular system design is already used in one of the existing system. That time you can search for such reusable component which are already present in some existing system, right? You can use it directly, or else what you can do, you can design, you can develop your own component. That work is done in the component selection and the design. Selection means using the reusable components. Design means if it is not available, if it is unavailable, reusable components are not present, then you need to develop, you need to design, you have the new components, and along with that you need to specify how they are going to operate within your system design. Clear? These are the main 4 activities are there in a design process. I hope it is clear, guys. The same thing is there in this. Just see here. There, what are the design inputs are there? The requirement specification, what we did, that is the one of the input. Along with that, the platform information you are going to give and the data description, and you are performing these 4 design activities. So what output you are getting from this? You are getting the system architecture, database specification, interface specification, and the component specification. Yes or no? By using architectural design, you will get the system architecture. By database design, you will get the database specification. By doing the interface design, you will get the interface specification. And by doing the component selection and the design, you will get the component specification. These are the outputs you are going to get from the software design and the implementation. Whenever you are doing your documentation, at that time these all will come into the existence. Clear? Are you getting, guys, what I am explaining?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Then this is what, just a system design is over. Now the system implementation is also there in the second main activity. So what exactly I told, translating whatever the structure you got for your system, that you need to convert into the executable program. That is what called as the implementation. So the software is implemented either by developing a program or programs, or by configuring an application system, right? That means you are developing it by a single program, or you may use the number of programs, or you can configure it by using some application system. Clear? So design and implementation are interleaved activities for most type of software system. That means before completion of the design, you can move on to the implementation. It is possible. That is what called as the interleave. If any changes is made, right, that will be accommodated in that particular phase itself. You can do the modification in that phase itself. That is what called as the interleaved activities. Right? Before completing the design part, you can do some part of a implementation. That is possible. So that is what called as the interleaved activities. So the most of the software systems are going to use these activities in interleaving, and programming is an individual activity with no standard process. That means, now see, I want to develop my project only by using a C programming, but Sujit is interested in C++, Ria is interested in Java. So it is individual interest, right? Individual interest, which type of a programming I am thorough, that particular programming language I will use to develop my particular software. Yes or no? So the software or the programming is an individual activity with no standard process, right? And debugging is the activity of finding the program faults and the correcting their faults. That you know, debugging indicates what? If any errors comes, right, when you execute your program, you are going to correct those errors. Correcting of errors, detecting of the errors, that is nothing but the debugging. These all activities of these all things were done in the system implementation. I hope it is clear. These are clear: system design and the implementation, guys. What are the 4 main activities are there in the design process we have seen, and what do you mean by exactly the system implementation that we have seen? Any doubts with this? Shall we move on to the next phase, guys? Next activity. No response at all.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
At least 1-2 members are responding. Next is, as already you know, the main third activity is software validation. That means you are going to ensure that it is checking whether the customer needs, right, those all are met or no, that you are going to validate, yeah, that you are going to check it out. That is what called as a software validation. Name itself indicates here. Verification and validation is intended to show that the system conforms to its specification and meets the requirements of the system customer, right. Whatever the system you have developed now, whether it is meeting all the customer requirement what you have gathered earlier, right, at the starting itself, whether it is meeting those all specification or no, that you are ensuring here, that you are checking here. That is what called as the system software validation. Here it is going to consisting of two things, verification and the validation. So always the software validation you can also call it as a V and V activity. V and V means verification and the validation. Clear? Is that clear? Hello? It involves checking and reviewing
Yes,
the
ma'am.
process and the system testing. See exactly how we are validating here. You are verifying, yes, you are checking whether it is meeting all the customer requirement, that is what called verifying, and you are reviewing the process and the system testing, validating. That means you are checking, you are going to do this some different kinds of a testing on that particular system, right, whether by using those all testing is it correctly working or no, that you are going to check it out. Those all work is done in the software validation, and the system testing involves executing the system with the test cases that are derived from the specification of the real data that needs to be processed by the system. That means against some test cases you are going to execute this particular system what you have developed, right. That is what called as the system testing. Clear? System testing is going to involve the executing the system against the some test cases. Some test cases you are going to come up with some test cases, against that you are executing your system program, right. That is what called as the system testing. And testing is most commonly called as the, or you can use it as a V and V activity. That means verification and the validation activity. Now we'll see which are all the different types of testings it is going to do in case of system testing. See here, there are three different kinds of testings will be done. That is, one is component testing, system testing, and the acceptance testing. Are you getting, guys? In case of a system validation or software validation, it is going to involve, yes, reviewing the process. It is going to do the testing, right, and it is going to verify whether it is meeting all the customer requirement or no, right. So what are all the different types of testings can be done in a software validation? There are mainly, it is going to consisting of three different kinds of testings will be done. That is component testing, system testing, and the acceptance testing. Now we'll see what is the use of those three kinds of testing. First one is component testing. That means whatever the components you have used in a system design, individual components are tested independently whether they are working properly or no, and components may be functions or objects or the coherent grouping of these entities, right. Components means you don't think as it as a hardware components only. In software the components are nothing but functions, or it may be the objects of the classes, right. Is it there? Is it clear? Right. So each and every component, whether they are working properly or no, right, that you are checking, that you are testing, that is what called as a component testing. Individual components are tested independently, right. One by one component you are going to check to ensure that whether they are working properly or no, right. Is that clear? Then system testing is testing as the system as a whole. That means the system, it may consisting of one program or it may consisting of the several number of programs, right. After implementation you are going to integrate it into the one system, right. So the whole system what you got, it may consisting of set of programs, right? That whole system itself you are going to test it. Clear? The testing of emergent properties is particularly important. That means system as a whole you are going to test here. Clear? Then last one is customer testing, or you can say it as a acceptance testing. That means testing with the customer data to check that the system is meeting the customer needs or no. Right? You are verifying, you are ensuring with this the system what you have developed, it is meeting all the customer specification or the requirement or the needs, right? To check that one, you are having the test called as the customer testing, or you can call it as a acceptance testing. It will ensure, it will test with the customer needs of the data what you have taken, to check that the system what you have developed, it is meeting the all the customer needs. This is what called as the customer testing. I hope it is clear, all the three types of testing, guys. Are you getting?
Yes, ma'am.
Please mute. Someone please mute. Okay, is that clear, guys? All the three types of testing. First one is component means individual components you are going to test it independently. That component may be, in case of a software, it is nothing but functions, or it may be objects, or it may be groups, right? It may be packages. Those all you are considering it as a components. Those will be tested independently. The next is system testing. System means what? How we are going to get a system? System is, it is going to consisting of a program, or it may consisting of set of programs, right? Those all you are going to integrate to get a system. So system as a whole you are going to test it, right? Then last one is customer testing, we can say, or you can say it as a acceptance testing. That means here you are testing against the customer data, your system what you have developed, against the customer data, whether it is meeting all the, whether it is meeting all the customer needs or no. That you are going to check it out. Is that clear? Hello, is that clear? All the three types of testing, guys. I can't. Hello, now can you hear me? Riya,
Yes, ma'am.
Snehal, only Snehal is responding. Yes, ma'am, Riya. Okay, this is all about software validation. I hope it is clear, guys. The third phase, third activity is software process activity. Clear? Yes or no? Three different types of testings we have studied here. Clear? Again, no answer.
Yes, ma'am.
Leena, are you there? Soumya? Sumaya?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
The last one is, last fourth activity is software evolution. Right? Software evolution, how exactly it will do, just to go through. Before that we will see the testing phases, how they are going to use it in a plan driven software process, right? This is, you can also call it as a V model. See here, there are requirement specification is there. At that time you are going to check it out, acceptance test plan, or you can say the customer test, you can do it. Then system specification, once you got, you can do the system integration test plan. Once you done the system design part, that time you can do the subsystem integration test plan. If you done the detailed design, you can do the model or the unit code test. Like this, the different kinds of testings you can do with the different kinds of phases. But in that mainly we have studied main three types of testing, that is component, system, and the third one is the you can say the customers or the acceptance testing. Now we'll see the last activity, that is software evolution. Name itself indicates, as your business is growing, as if your business is growing, you will come up with the different demands, right? So the customer is going to come up with the different requirements, right? According to that requirement, you need to do the modification in your system, right? You are going to evolve your software system, that needs to be reflected in your software system. That is what you are calling it as a software evolution. Yes or no? Software is inherently flexible and can change. When it is going to change? Whenever the customer come up with a new requirement. Yes or no? So the software system what you have developed, that needs to be flexible enough to make a changes when the customer come up with a new needs. Correct? Clear? Getting the thing? See, go through the second point. As the requirements change through the changing business circumstances, as already told, as your business is going according to the market needs, you may come up with the different kinds of a requirement. So the software needs to support that. The business must also evolve and change. Evolving means it needs to do the modification. That modification needs to reflect in your software system as the customer requirements has been changed. Although there has been a demarcation between the development and the evolution, this is increasingly irrelevant as fewer and fewer systems are completely new. That means after doing the modification, right, you are going to meet the different kinds of requirements, new kinds of requirement.
ಡಿಸೈಡ್ ಮುಗಿದಾಗ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ವೈಫೈ ಕೊಡ್ಬೋದಾ ಇಂಟರ್ನೆಟ್?
Yes, exactly. This is the last activity of your software process, right? That is software evolution. I hope it is clear, guys. These are the four activities, main activities we have studied. Just go through this system evolution, how it can be done. You are going to define a system requirement, assess the existing system. If any existing system is there, right, you are going to assessment of that one will done. Then you are going to propose the system changes. Then modify your system, what you have developed newly. So you will come up with the new system. That means what you are doing here, first you have come up with the requirements. According to that requirement, you are checking whether is there any existing system is there or no. If it is existing system is there, you are going to use some of the components, some of the element from that one. Then to meet your requirement, again you are going to propose some different system. You are going to develop develop different system that you are going to propose here, right, to make the change of your customer needs. According to that, you are modifying the system. So at the end you will end up with the new software system, right? This is how exactly the system evolution will be done. I hope it is clear, guys. Getting the same thing, system evolution. As the customer needs are changing, you need to make a